If you thought bloody Puddles was tough, wait until you see the challenge that we're playing today. In this video we're playing the true expert map Bloody Puddles on easy mode, but only allowing ourselves to place towers on the water puddles, and the goal is to reach around 250, something I'm doubtful will even be possible. For this challenge we will play with Ezili as our hero. Geraldo's action figure won't really bring us any money whatsoever, because it will take so many rounds for us to get the carrier flagship to be able to place him to begin with. Adora is useful for her blood sacrifice ability that buffs sun temples and sun gods, but in this challenge I think we will need Ezili to even make it far enough that buffing sun gods even becomes a talking point. So despite the short tracks, Ezili with her Moab Hex will be my choice, and let's not forget the totem that gives extra attack speed and camo detection, which will be useful. We begin the game with a bunch of subs, and then start working on a boat farm. The toughest rounds are the ones when the bloons come on the two outer tracks, especially if they're camo bloons. We will rely on our boat farms to take down the early camo rounds, and then, when we can get an absolute zero on our carrier flagship, we can get a camo village. We will get a Pirate Lord and use its ability often for more cash generation, and get a Monkey Wall Street in the leftmost puddle and of course an overclock to go with it. I would like to mention in this video that I'm aware that a lot of you have been asking for the Lucifer Sanctum series to continue, and the next episode was supposed to be out already, but the person who draws the images has been busy moving, thereby the delay. I won't say a date, but hopefully the series will continue soon, although I can tease you with something better. A video many of you have been waiting for a lot longer than that one is coming out very soon, and I think many of you know what it might be, so stay tuned for that. Back to the game. We upgraded to an Ultra Boost to give max stacks to the Monkey Wall Street, and also got a preemptive strike which will be awesome against the DDTs. A Spirit of the Forest will give us some nice extra cash and also help with cleanups. And now we will try to survive for as long as we can using this setup to farm a lot of money and get as high of a degree as we can on the nav arc. Since the degree affects ability cooldown time, it's important on a map with tracks as short as this one that you have a high degree. This challenge is yet another viewer suggestion, and I think it might be the most crazy one so far. The space is not super limited, we have 4 decent sized puddles, so there's a lot of combination of towers that are possible, which is good for a challenge. But at the same time, the tracks makes it very difficult despite the decent amount of space. A perfect challenge. Once on round 135 it's getting too tough, so we get a degree 57 nav arc, and we keep the Monkey Wall Street with its 10 stacks, and then get a special Poperations Heli and pick up an Ice Monkey, and we will fly it around to place Ice Monkeys on the other puddles. In the bottom one we'll get a Flying Fortress to start farming pops for the Ace Paragon, and also a Trade Empire, Energizer, and a Carrier Flagship with a Grand Sabo on top of it to farm pops for the Ninja Paragon, and also an NG that will overclock the Wall Street while we ultra boost the top path farm that we placed after selling the heli. Up top we place a Sky Shredder and another boat, and this will now be our new setup for a while as we continue to farm more money and pops for more paragons. We target Ezili's totem as far to the bottom right as we can so it reaches the Flying Fortress. This way we can make it see camo and get some extra attack speed to help it steal pops from the nav arc. Using our abilities as best we can, this setup is good for round 160, and then we need something new. We get a degree 31 Ninja Paragon atop the carrier flagship to the right, which will help out a lot on rounds that come on the outer tracks. We get the Grand Sabo back on the upper puddle in case we run into trouble, and we get rid of the merchantman there and get an overclock instead, so we can sell the one that's on top of the carrier flagship and get a Moab Domination there instead to start farming pops for the Glaive Dominus. We also get an XXXL trap just below to start farming pops for the NG Paragon, and we move the trap each round to the active track. We use the totem as much as we can to help our pop farming towers. At this point it looks like we have a lot of cash, and we do, but we're gonna need more, so we still can't stop farming. We use our abilities as best we can to increase the money generation until we run into problems again on round 201. Now we sell the Monkey Wall Street to make room to create a degree 69 Doom ship, and then we also get a degree 72 Master Builder. We get the Monkey Wall Street back and start ultra boosting it once again, while we switch the overclock over to the Banana Central. Now we will need to micro the carpet bomb ability from the Doom ship each round to push as far as we can. And at this point, many of the rounds will be very close, with bads popping right by the exit. Round 229 was super tough. I could not beat it using this setup, so it was time to give it a final upgrade. I got the Glaive Dominus to degree 42 atop the carrier flagship, and after thinking a lot about how to do it, I managed to get a VTSG. We place the Super Monkey here and give it one range upgrade while also being affected by the totem from Isili, causing it to reach the edge of the water puddle so we can fit our 3 sacrifices. And then, for the VTSG, we need to place the Legend of the Night and the anti-bloon outside the temple's range, and that was tough. We can just barely fit 2 supers outside of its range, but we also need to squeeze in 2 ice platforms outside of its range, because if the ice monkey making up the platform gets sacrificed, then our supers will disappear before the vengeful transformation can take place. So we need a total of 4 towers outside of its range and then all of the sacrifices inside, and it just barely fits. Then I got a support temple and new ice platforms for Homeland, Blue Storm, got a Perma Brew, Super Brittle, Cripple Moab, and I also got the Energizer back since it got sacrificed to the VTSG. This took quite a while to set up, so I was pretty disappointed to find out that it still could not beat round 229. I got really unlucky RNG getting 2 fortified bads in the rightmost track and 3 normal bads in the leftmost track, but I was not ready to give up yet. After thinking about this round a lot, I figured out the solution. Create the setup to create the VTSG, but don't just yet. Just get the Legend of the Night and let the first 3 bads leak, and then use the nav arc to hook in the second last bad and set Isili to close so she targets the last bad, and then also time the carpet bomb to help her out with that last one. This round was something out of a nightmare, but I finally made it, and now we can get the VTSG and the whole setup that I mentioned before, and get started ultra boosting our VTSG. And then it's just a matter of microing as best you can to survive as long as possible. A lot of rounds will be close, and you will need to try timing your abilities in different ways in order to pass the really tough ones. With multiple tracks and with the speed ramping really starting to kick in, you need to be pretty focused and quick to beat the harder rounds. To my surprise, I actually managed to pass round 250, something I really doubted once I took on this challenge. And this gives me hope that at least maybe we will be able to beat 300 rounds in the Lucifer Sanctum series on this map, something I also thought might not be possible. Past round 250, I needed to rebuy Isili once to remove the cooldown. But once I got to round 257, I hit a brick wall. There was nothing I could do. Selling and rebuying Isili was pretty hopeless because of the speed ramping and this short track. And the Legend of the Night trick did not work either, so that's where I call it for this challenge. This was a super fun and tough one, and if you have not subscribed yet you should, because I'm about to drop my biggest bloons video ever in just less than a week, and you don't want to miss it. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, it really helps me out a lot, and feel free to join my Discord if you want to, and also use my creator code if you want to support me whenever you buy items in game. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.